Hi, my name is Lisana Granillo, and I recently concluded a project on assessing learners focusing on Galileo testing. So, learning environments in which learners are being assessed happen all the time, from a traditional classroom setting, receiving assessments, to a manager assessing his or her employees. It is truly amazing seeing the different forms of assessments that exist. And according to OB and SAP, an assessment is the process in which information about individuals is used to determine decisions that will be made in the future. The learning environment that I decided to focus on was at America Reads, which is an after-school one-on-one tutoring program. The location that I focused on was the Salvation Army Croc Center, and I observed in their setting on Monday from around 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And the name of the educator that I met with is named Kimberly Hahn. She is the supervisor of the program, and her contact information is kimberly.hahn@asu.edu, and her phone number is 480-773-1207. So, a description of how Galileo is assessed is so the learners are from kinder through fifth grade, and they receive their assessment online at www.ati-online.com, and their tutor guides them through the assessment. So this week the students took their mid-tests, and each student is required to take the reading and the math assessment. Depending on the student's grade, the way the exam looks will be different. So, for example, kindergartners must have the entire reading test read to them. This includes the stories, the directions, the answers, the questions, and then there are also some in which the tutor had to say the sounds of the letters in a word, and the tutee had to say the word that they heard. So this is an example of one of the questions that can be found in the test. So if I were the tutor, I would say, listen as I say a word broken into parts. Then you tell me the whole word. If I say at, you should say the word cat. Listen. U, if. Now say the word. Then the student would have to say the word lip. And if they did not say the word lip, then it would be incorrect. And if they did, it would be correct. So for first graders, only some of the material was read to them, and then for second graders and above, the tutors could only read the directions and the questions. They could not read anything else for the students. So what I discovered is that the Galileo assessment is a formative assessment. The first reason to why this is considered a formative assessment is because, according to OB and SAP, formative assessments have a direct path and impact on the strategies the educators take. So, as Kimberly Hahn mentioned, the results of the assessments show specific math and reading standards, and each standard shows either ready later, learned, or ready soon. So the tutors then create lesson plans tailored to the ready soon and ready later standards so that the students can then understand these standards. The standards are taught and strengthened through activities the tutor creates that involve their students' interests. This is fascinating because being able to understand their likes and dislikes is important because, as stated by OB and SAP, these preferences assist teachers in converting their areas of growth into strengths. Another reason the Galileo tests are a formative type of assessment is because, as mentioned by OB and SAP, results are kept in the teacher's record books. That is what is done with these results as well because tutors keep the results in their students' folder so they can refer back to the standards when they need support on. So I do agree with the educators' assessment strategies. To me, it was awesome seeing how every grade level received different kinds of support in their reading assessment. For example, kindergartners are just learning how to read, so it is very important for them to be able to blend sounds together and be able to say those words. Um, that is why it is great seeing how there were some section in which the educators had to say the sounds of the letters in a word and the students had to put the sounds together to say the word. The additional strategies I would recommend for this assessment is to basically provide more support to those learners that may need it. For example, I noticed that one of the students did not speak any English and she would click on any circle because she did not understand the content. So, since she didn't know how to read, I don't think that the assessment was an accurate representation of her achievement because she's in fifth grade, and at that grade level, they're mostly tested on comprehension skills. So I'm sure that if the tests were in Spanish, she would have been able to demonstrate her comprehension skills. But the alternative strategy that I do recommend is to have the student take a lower reading level test that matches their English level. This way, the results are a more accurate representation of her growth and her needs in the program. But overall, I really enjoyed this project and appreciate the knowledge it has provided me in learning about the different kinds of assessments. It was really interesting seeing how they can be beneficial through different ways in which they are used.